This morning comes from the United States, where President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett is being grilled by U.S. senators for the first time at her Senate confirmation hearing, which is currently underway. With the first day of hearings focused largely on the coronavirus pandemic, the most recent hearing showed Judge Barrett being grilled on her religious beliefs as well as her views on abortion, gay rights and healthcare. Barrett repeatedly declined to give her personal views on key issues that could come up before the court. She declined to even offer a personal view on abortion, gay marriage or even the Affordable Care Act.
Do you agree with this particular point of Justice Scalia's view that the U.S. Constitution does not afford gay people the fundamental right to marry?
Senator Feinstein, as I said to Senator Graham at the outset, if I were confirmed, you would be getting Justice Barrett, not Justice Scalia. So I don't think that anybody should assume that just because Justice Scalia decided a decision a certain way, that I would too. But I'm not going to express a view on whether I agree or disagree with Justice Scalia for the same reasons that I've been giving. You know, Justice Ginsburg, with her characteristic pithiness, used this to describe how a nominee should comport herself at a hearing. No hints, no previews, no forecasts.
During the hearing, Barrett said that she made no commitments to the president or anyone else about how she might rule on a case aimed at dismantling the Affordable Care Act or a potential dispute in the upcoming presidential election. Trump has asked the Senate to confirm Barrett before the election next month. Barrett was nominated to a lifetime post on the court by Trump to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The 4-day confirmation hearing is a key step before a full Senate vote on Barrett's confirmation. Republicans have a 53 to 47 Senate majority, making Barrett's confirmation a certainty. If confirmed, Barrett would give conservatives a 6-3 Supreme Court majority. Now, for more insights on President Trump's Supreme Court pick, we are now being joined by Jagrati Dave live from Washington, D.C. Now, welcome, Jagrati. Amy Coney Barrett has said at the recent Senate hearing that she was not hostile to Obamacare, which has been quite a controversial policy in this election season. But more importantly, she dodged questions on her stance on abortion. So tell us about some of her significant remarks.
Yes, so today really was about the grilling that she got on a variety of topics that you've mentioned, on abortion, the Affordable Care Act, and she essentially avoided answering many of those questions, saying that she didn't want to hint at how she might rule on cases that come before the court. She was very adamant to say that she was going to rule according to the law, not according to her personal preferences, and that her preferences should have no bearing on how she adheres to particular issues in the court. She also mentioned Justice Scalia, who was her mentor, and they are both what is known as originalists, so they take the interpretation of law as according to how it was perceived originally in the Constitution. But she again made the point, which you played in that clip, is that just because Anthony Scalia was her mentor doesn't mean that they agree on all issues. So she wanted to be very clear that they were going to get her, Justice Barrett, and not Justice Scalia. But also she made it very clear that she wasn't going to let politics rule her decision making as well. There's a lot of concerns from Democrats that because the president has really pushed for her as his pick so soon before the election, that she might be swayed by the president. Indeed, this is the tension that the Democrats see in her pick so soon. And she was keen to say that, you know, she has integrity. She's not going to be a pawn on deciding how the American people vote. For example, say if the vote in the 2020 vote ends up in the Supreme Court and as a result of a dispute, she was very clear that she wasn't going to rule in a particular way on that. The Democrats are trying to say that because she was picked by Donald Trump, she should recuse herself from any decisions such as the 2020 relating to to the 2020 election. But again, she said that she had integrity, she wasn't a pawn, a political pawn, and that she didn't need to recuse herself.
Right. Now, as you just said, Barrett repeatedly declined to give her views on high-profile and contentious issues in the United States like abortion rights, the constitutional right of Affordable Care Act, or even gay rights for that matter. And she also hoped to portray herself as an independent judge without any agenda. But tell us, what are the political pundits in the US saying as to the changes that she may bring to American law once she takes the seat?
Yes, so this is the interesting point about the timing of this. You know, this is a highly politically charged days of confirmation hearings. And many commentators have been saying that actually a lot of the debate seemed to be less about Amy Coney Barrett and more really about the viewers watching on the television the clips of the court, that they were sort of trying to drive home the political messaging. So the Democrats were really pushing the point that they were concerned that Amy Coney Barrett would overturn the Affordable Care Act, which had extended health insurance to around 20 million Americans. They were taking the point that she had criticised a 2012 ruling that upheld the Affordable Care Act. Republicans, on the other hand, are trying to present her as a feminist icon for the Republicans. They're trying to really use her nomination as a way of hoping that maybe some independents or those who might be unsure about whether they want to vote Republican or not might be swayed to vote their way because they have got a Republican, a conservative judge in the Supreme Court.
Right, Jagriti, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast and for all your inputs on this story.